Welcome back, everybody. This is That Savant Guy, and we are in the Alpha 2 release of BitCraft. This is my little claim that I've been building. You can tell by the white outline here that my claim is currently expired and I've run out of supplies. This is one of those games probably similar to EVE Online or some other games that are going to be very much about controlling territory and controlling property. So every player, when they start, can create a claim, and they do that by creating this little claim totem right here that's highlighted in the blue. And then once you've created that, there's a timer that starts on how long your claim is active for. Items that are inside of your claim are protected. They won't decay, and people generally can't mess with any of the stuff that's inside of your claim. However, that claim will slowly start to tick down, and once it runs out of supplies, it'll change from a green outline to a white outline, and at that point, the items will potentially start to decay. You can actually build anywhere in the world, so I can go and build these storage structures or manufacturing or crafting structures in other locations in the world. However, anytime you do that, those items will automatically begin to decay over time. Okay, so I've already got a supply that I had stored away in my supply storage chest over here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. You can see that it's now moved over to my inventory into the single backpack slot that I have because this is a large item. And if you look at my character, you can actually see that they are carrying the supply item on their back. Loading this into your territory supply cache or into your claim supply case is a simple matter of right-clicking on the item. This will open up your claimed area. And then you can just right-click on the supplies in your inventory, select the supply claim option. You hear a little tap tap, and then your claim is now supplied. And you'll see that the entire claim area has now been highlighted with green. And you can see that that supply item gave me 1 hour and 40 minutes of time before my supplies run out. A couple of things to understand is each of these supply items is worth 100 points. Your claim can store up to 5,000 points at any given time. The size of your claim definitely has an impact on how quickly it burns through supplies. So when I originally built this claim, you can see that there are these gaps in my map where I have kind of like these hollow sections that aren't highlighted. They were originally all filled in, and this was sort of a more of like an oblong object that provided me with a lot of surface area to go and build other items and throw things on the ground and stuff like that, which you could do to some extent depending on whether or not they're large or small items. What I noticed is that I think I was down to about 12 hours of claim time remaining, and I went and I deleted and removed all these items from my claim, and it grew the time on my claim from 12 hours to 19 hours. So the amount of tiles that you store in your space on your claim are definitely going to have a pretty significant impact on the amount of supplies you're going to have to feed into your claim to keep it active. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do to create supplies for your claims. Here's one that's relatively easy. Here you'll find a variety of trees in the area around you. You can just, after you've created your initial set of tools, you can right-click on in this case, a young beech tree, and your character will start to chop down the tree. You can see that I've already picked up a trunk, which has been automatically added to the large inventory slot on my character's back, and another one has dropped on the ground here. You can see I've seen anywhere from 1 to 4 of these drop on average when you chop down a tree. Once you chop the tree down, You can also continue to chop into the trunk to gain some additional items. It'll show up as a rotten stump. So as you can see here, I picked up a rough wood log already. I've picked up some bark, and I've picked up some basic amber resin. So I've gotten 3 trunks from this, 3 logs from this so far, and I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4 trunks. Now, as I said, you have 3 logs here. You can take one of these trunks that's on the ground and right-click on it, and if you right-click and hold, you'll get some additional menu options. One of the choices is to chop the rough wood trunk. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can see that that gave me 4 additional logs from chopping that. What you can do instead is you can create a workstation or a crafting table in your territory, which is a rough forestry station. This is the tier 1 forestry station that you can start out with. And you can choose to use the rough wood log output option instead to break down your trunk into additional logs. Once it's completed, just click on it, say that you're going to claim, and you'll see here that you got 5 logs instead of 4. Now, when I chop these trunks on the ground, I've seen anywhere from, I think, 2 to 4 logs as output, so there's some randomness to it. If you carry the trunk back to this forestry station, you always get 5 logs. Now, on the forestry station, if you right-click again, you'll see that I now have an option to create a cargo item of 100 supplies. This requires 12 logs to create, which I currently have, so I'm going to go ahead and craft that. I'm going to claim it, and I'm going to come over here to my claimed area and supply the claim. And you can see I'm now up to 3.5 hours of claimed time. So you can keep doing that. There's things that you can do at almost every crafting station to allow you to create supplies that contribute. And this is important because this game is really designed and intended to be a multiplayer group effort where inside of your claim you can have greater numbers of members, again, depending on the tier of your claim and how advanced it's gotten. Mine is only a tier 1, so I'm allowed to have a limit of 15 members to my current claim size, and I can have up to 200 tiles in my claim size. However, as the tier gets larger, you can have additional members. The size of your claim can grow, and then, of course, the amount of supplies that you can store in your claim is also going to grow as well, because it's going to move through those supply values so much more quickly. The goal here is always going to be join a guild, join a team, join a group, combine all your efforts into a single person's claim, which will allow this to grow and grow and grow. And then you can still use your own personal claim for your own little projects and your own little tasks that you may want to complete. You may decide to go out to a river or go out to an ocean, set up a claim, set up a fishing station in that claim, and then do a bunch of fishing for a while. And then when you're done with skilling that up and collecting all the resources you need, break everything down. You're always going to lose a little bit of the supplies that you use to create any given item, so you can't just constantly recycle everything. There's always a little bit of loss every time you break down a workstation or break down an item. But you can go and pick up, move to another location, and then do some additional kind of adventuring and collecting of resources. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more supply generation by doing some chopping of the trees. And you'll notice that as I'm chopping the trees, a skill window will open up on the right here. This is the growth of my forestry skill ability, which I believe is currently skill level 22, and on its way up. The little outfit that I'm wearing, I actually received when I reached level 20. The level 20 was a more significant milestone in this particular skill, and I was awarded an outfit as part of it. My character is also using an improved tier 2 tool for forestry. So in here I have a Pyrolite axe. Sorry, it's a tier 1 tool. My initial tools were all tier 0, so I'm now using a tier 1 Pyrolite axe tool, which increases the damage that the axe does, and therefore, as a result, increases the ability or the speed at which I harvest resources from trees, as well as any actions that I take that generally will trigger the forestry skill. So you can see I can still come back and get this trunk later. But those trunks will sit around for a while, so if you want to, you can just keep chopping a bunch of trees down, get a pile of trunks, and then you can just run the trunks back and forth for a bit. I'll probably go ahead and speed this section up a little bit. And then we can see what's happened after I get about 12 or so hours logged into my claim area, so I don't have to worry about it until tomorrow. Okay, so you can see here that I have run out of stamina, which means that I can no longer take actions. Stamina is tracked on the stamina bar down here. Essentially, any crafting activities that you take, or if you decide to sprint instead of walk, it'll use up stamina. You can recover stamina, generally speaking, in two ways. You can either rest. Rest can be accomplished by clicking the R on your key, and you'll sit in place, and then you'll see your stamina bar will start to slowly climb. You can also rest in a sleep zone or a sleep station. So this might be a bed, a lean-to, a house, a building, different levels of sleep tools or sleep stations that have improved comfort levels will significantly improve the rate at which you recover your stamina. You can also eat items. So you can see here in my inventory that I have a plain mushroom skewer that I had made. If you right click on that and just select eat, it'll automatically add 100 stamina points to my stamina. You'll also see here that I have a fullness meter. I'm that skewer added 20 fullness to my meter. The most I can have is 100, so I can't stack a whole bunch of food on top of each other to continuously replenish my stamina. So it's a little bit of a limiter on constantly using food to fuel your stamina. But now that my stamina is back up to snuff, I can get back up and get back to chopping this tree. Alright, so as you can see, I've been storing all my log outputs here, but there's a limit to how many projects this station can store at any given time, and I've now reached that limit, which is 8 total used out of 8 total available spots. I can claim these one at a time, or I can claim them all together. The danger of claiming things all together is that if you don't have enough space in your inventory, which would be about 40 logs here, the rest of the logs will fall out onto the ground. And even if you're in your territory, I mean, I'm not, but even if you're in your territory, those extra items will fall onto the ground into a little bag or a little pile. and you have a 2-minute timer that runs before those items will decay on the spot and go away forever. So always be mindful when you're removing items from storage or removing items from a crafting station that you've got somewhere to put it, either by your inventory or by using baskets or other storage devices on your space, to make sure that you don't lose any items that you've spent time creating, or not losing items that are perhaps a little bit more rare than others. You can see here is an example of an item that's marked as epic. It's just a little bit of a rarer drop compared to most of the other things that you have around you. So I'm going to go ahead and claim one of those items just by clicking the little claim button. Can claim another one, and here I would run out of room, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this into cargo. Now here will be an example of an item dropping to the ground, by the way. So now when I claim this, it has nowhere to go, so it drops on the ground. Now this is a large item. I don't think these decay. I haven't really tested it yet. It's only the smaller items, like for example, if I were to drop this pyrolite chunk of ore on the ground, you'll see here it's got a little bag that appears, and if I turn on the highlights or the text on all these items, you'll see here it's an item pile, and it's got a 2-minute timer running on it. So if I need to pick it up, I just right-click on the bag, click Claim All, then it pops right back into my inventory. You can turn that text on and off, by the way, by using the Alt button. So I'm going to go and drop this log, pick up my supplies, walk over and supply my claim, and then I'm going to keep repeating all this stuff, hopefully on fast forward. All right, level 23 in forestry. Who doesn't love a good skill up? The game still occasionally has some pathing issues, by the way. Alright, so that was a first look at BitCraft Age of Automata. Hope everyone enjoyed a sneak peek at some of the stuff that's happening in this game as it goes through its alpha stages. Again, I'm That Savant Guy. If you guys liked what you saw, this is my first attempt at doing a voiceover on a video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and add any comments or suggestions of what else you might like to see. Thanks a lot, everyone.